Hello, friends. Hello, my young learners. How are you all? I hope you all are safe and healthy and happy at home. My dear friends, I'm sure you all have enjoyed, are enjoying all your lessons, all your sessions. Once again, I, Rakhi Mishra, welcome you to another session of English class where we are going to read a very interesting story, a biographical story of a great man, of a great scientist. I think you all have got your textbooks with you, and without any delay, let us begin. The name of the story is A Truly Beautiful Mind, and it is taken from your textbook Beehive. My dear students, whenever we utter the word genius, which name comes to your mind? I'm sure you might be thinking about the great scientist, the great person of this world, that is Albert Einstein. My dear children, if you read about him, you'll get to know that he was not at all born genius. If you read his biography, you'll find that during his childhood days, even his mother, his friends, his colleagues, they all had a very different notion about his personality. But what he gave to this world, he gave such concepts to this world. He introduced the world with a very different definition, and he took the human beings very close to science. He gave a new definition to time, space, and because of his theories, I think we all recognize him to be one of the greatest scientists of the world. And the moment we use the word genius, his name is synonymous to genius. Now, to tell you more about, to bring you close to the life of this genius, this biographical sketch has been introduced in your textbook. So let us read about him. A Truly Beautiful Mind. Albert Einstein was born on 14 March 1879 in the German city of Ulm, without any indication that he was destined for greatness. On the contrary, his mother thought Albert was a freak. What does freak mean? A person who does not behave or talk or think like others. She felt as if he was something different, very unusual kind of personality. To her, his head seemed much too large. And it is said that Albert Einstein did not talk for several years. And once what happened, the family was taking supper, and all of a sudden Einstein spoke a few words. What did he say? He said, "The soup is hot." And when his mother asked that why didn't you speak for so many days, so many years, then he replied saying that because up to now everything was in order. So it's not that he really had any problem, but he was looking for the right opportunity to speak, and when it was necessary, then only he thought he would speak. So whatever his mother thought, perhaps that was not true in this case. At the age of 2.5, Einstein still wasn't talking. and it was really a matter of great concern for the family. When he finally did learn to speak, he uttered everything twice. This was another peculiarity. Einstein did not know what to do with other children, and his playmates called him Brother Boring. He preferred to not to speak to them, and whatever he spoke twice. So the youngster played by himself much of the time. He especially loved mechanical toys. Looking at his newborn sister Maja, he is said to have said, "Fine, but where are her wheels?" That means anything moving, anything mechanical really attracted the attention of this boy, because he wanted to really locate what is the reason of something moving and something not moving. And this was the question that he asked when his sister was born. You see the inquisitive mind of this young child. Now, when he was sent to school, even it is said that he didn't have a very comfortable stay or time even in school. A headmaster once told his father that what Einstein chose as a profession wouldn't matter because he'll never make a success at anything. Just note here, somebody who has been assessed or judged or commented upon like this, he proves himself, or he comes out to be a genius one day. But his headmaster once told him that whatever he takes does not matter because he is not going to get success in his life. Einstein began learning to play violin at the age of 6 because his mother wanted him to. He later became a gifted amateur violinist. What does it mean? Amateur violinist means played violin just for pleasure and not for a job. It was not a source of income for him, but for pleasure he used to play violin, maintaining this skill throughout his life. You can see that we are talking about that he started his playing violin at the age of 6, but you can see in the picture, even in the later years also, he continued playing because it used to give him a lot of pleasure. But Albert Einstein was not a bad pupil. He was not a bad student. He went to high school in Munich, where Einstein's family had moved when he was 15 months old, and scored good marks in almost every subject. Here it's shown in the picture, his graduation mark sheet, and it's not very clearly visible, but from here you can see that he scored good marks in almost every subject. Einstein hated the school's regimentation. It is there's some very interesting thing mentioned about him is that once he was in his history class and he had a kind of argument with his history teacher. History teacher insisted him to learn the dates and the events, but he opposed. He disliked. He said, "What is the fun of learning the dates and the events? Rather, we should know more about the cause of that event, cause of those wars, rather than knowing when was it." So the reason, justification, always was something that he wanted. He never just accepted the things because they were told. He wanted a logical reason for that. And that is the reason he loved mathematics, he loved physics, because he always wanted to, or he could get the reason of finding out some solution of a problem, and even he gave the solutions very quickly, and he was in a very good terms with his mathematics teacher and physics teacher. He was in a very he was appreciated a lot by his by his mathematics teacher, and often clashed with his other teachers who did not teach him mathematics and science. They were not very happy with him because he always asked for the logic. Why is it so? At the age of 15, Einstein felt so stifled. Stifled means he felt so suffocated that he left the school for good. The previous year, Albert's parents had moved to Milan and left their son with relatives. After prolonged discussion, Einstein got his wish to continue his education in German-speaking Switzerland, in a city which was more liberal, that means it was not that restrictive, than Munich, the capital and the largest city of German state in Bavaria. Einstein was highly gifted in mathematics and interested in physics, and after finishing school, he decided to study at the University of Zurich. But science wasn't the only thing that appealed to the dashing young man with a walrus moustache. You can see that in the picture also. You can see that he's busy reading. He's enjoying his reading time. He was fond of reading. But it is not only mathematics and physics that had attracted or that had interested him. Rather, he was very much interested in other types of reading. He also felt a special interest in a fellow student, Mileva Merrick, whom he found to be a clever creature. This young Serb had come to Switzerland because the University of Zurich was one of the few in Europe where women could get degrees. Einstein saw in her an ally, that means a friend, against the Philistines, those people who in his family and at the university with whom he was constantly at odds. So he found that this Mileva, she could prove herself to be a good friend and an associate of Einstein, and they became very good friends. The couple fell in love. Letters survive in which they put their affection into words, mixing science with tenderness. Wrote Einstein, "How happy and proud I shall be when we both have brought our work on relativity to a victorious conclusion." You see, this is the book which is Mileva Merrick Einstein. So about both of them, and these letters, they prove that how they wanted to really work together and bring certain new concepts or new findings, and he wanted that they should give something new to this world. In 1900, at the age of 21, Albert Einstein was a university graduate and unemployed. He worked as a teaching assistant, gave private lessons, and finally secured a job in 1902 as a technical expert in the patent office in Bern. You can see the photograph here. He's shown doing some work in the patent office in Bern. And what he said is that during this job, he found certain very relevant papers. He did a lot of work, and he believed that this was the time, this was the place where he did lot of collection which helped him in further studies. While he was supposed to be assessing other people's inventions, Einstein was actually developing his own ideas in secret. He is said to have jokingly called his desk drawer at work the Bureau of Theoretical Physics. Why is it so? As I said, that this was the place where he was involved in lot of assessing work, and he came across several ideas, and these things really helped him to study, to have more and more research in the future. One of the famous papers of 1905 was Einstein's special theory of relativity, according to which time and distance are not absolute. That means they are not in relation to anything else. Indeed, two perfectly accurate clocks will not continue to show the same time if they come together again after a journey, if one of them has been moving very fast relative to the other. It's all relativity. And here in your textbook also, it is very interestingly given. You can just have a look there, that he says that it is all relative about time and space, and this time is relative. If you are just waiting for something to happen, time seems so long for you. But when you are sitting with a beautiful girl with you, having some good discussion or having some good time, then time just flies. So here he says that time, it is all relative. How you are spending, what you are doing while spending that time, it is all relative. And here he has given an example of two clocks also. From this followed the world's most famous formula, which describes the relationship between mass and energy. You all have heard about this famous equation, E is equal to mc square, where E is the energy, m is the mass, c is the constant, which is the speed of light in vacuum. Right? So here he is the one who had given this very important equation, right, describing the relation between the mass and the energy. While Einstein was solving the most difficult problems in physics, his private life was unrevealing. That means it was not very happy, right? It was coming to a fall. Albert had wanted to marry Mileva right after finishing his studies, but his mother was against it. She thought Mileva, who was 3 years older than her son, was too old for him. She was also bothered about Mileva's intelligence. She was not that intelligent. She is a book like you. His mother said. Einstein put the wedding off. Right? Though at that moment he thought not to. He dropped the idea of marrying Mileva. But finally, the pair married in January 1903 and had 2 sons. But a few years later, the marriage faltered. This marriage did not work. It was not a successful marriage. Mileva, meanwhile, was losing her intellectual ambition and becoming an unhappy housewife. After years of constant fighting, the couple finally divorced in 1919. Einstein married his cousin Elsa the same year. Now, Einstein's new personal chapter coincided with his rise to world fame. Now, gradually, with the passage of time, he became very famous. In 1915, he had published his general theory of relativity, which provided a new interpretation of gravity. An eclipse of the sun in 1919 brought proof that it was accurate. Whatever Einstein was studying on, whatever theory he had talked about, theory of relativity, everything was proved accurate in 1919. Einstein had correctly calculated in advance the extent to which the light from fixed stars would be deflected. Deflected means they would be going in different directions after hitting something, after hitting the any object, right, through the sun's gravitational field. And the newspapers proclaimed his work as a scientific revolution. You see, in the beginning of this session also, I said that he introduced world with different concept related to time, different concept. He gave a new dimension. He gave a new definition to time and space. And this particular research was also a scientific revolution. That is what several newspapers had declared. Einstein received Nobel Prize for Physics in 1921. He was showered with honors and invitations from all over the world and lauded by the press. He was appreciated all over the world. And here you can see that the other Nobel laureates are also standing there with Einstein for a photography session. Right? It is Einstein near the observatory of Mount Wilson, which operated the largest telescope at that time. Right? So they all are standing there with Einstein, and in 1921 he was awarded with the Nobel Prize for Physics. Now another thing, the other aspect here, that when the Nazis came to power in Germany in 1933, Einstein emigrated to the United States. He left the country. 5 years later, the discovery of nuclear fission in Berlin had American physicists in an uproar. Many of them had fled from fascism, just as Einstein had, and now they were afraid the Nazis could build and use an atomic bomb. You see, he was a scientist, no doubt about it. But he never wanted his science to be used for destructive purpose. He never thought and he never advocated the inventions, the new studies, the new research in the field of science for any destructive purpose. He was dead against that. And it was during this time when a lot of disturbance was there, he felt as if it was time for him to not to support the inventions or the new discoveries or the inventions for any of the destructions, mainly for destructing the human lives. At the urging of a colleague, Einstein wrote a letter to the American president, Franklin D. Roosevelt, on 2nd August 1939, in which he warned. It's very important here because he being a scientist, he always wanted that his scientific research, his scientific findings, his new inventions should help the mankind, not that it should be used for some destruction. And he had some kind of belief that whatever was being done by the Americans, perhaps it is going to destroy, or it is going to destroy and destruct the human lives. And so he wrote a letter to American president. A single bomb of this type, he's talking about the nuclear bombs. A single bomb of this type exploded in a port might very well destroy the whole port together with some of the surrounding territory. You see what is his tone. He's warning him. So in a way he wanted to tell that such things should be discouraged. He warned them, and he never was advocating any kind of scientific development for these reasons. His words did not fail to have an effect. The Americans developed the atomic bomb in a secret project of their own and dropped it on the Japanese cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki in August 1945. I think, my dear children, this is the right moment that we are reading this, because it was during 6th to 9th of August 1945 when Americans had dropped atomic bombs in these two cities of Japan. And you see how the destruction took place. It was because of that scientific invention, or you can say the bringing of atomic bomb to this world, which had brought destruction to these two cities. Now, my dear children, I will discuss up to here in this part, we have already discussed, we have already read paragraph 1 to 15. Now we will take up some questions from your text, and in the second part, we will be discussing the rest of the 2 paragraphs along with some of the other textual questions. So here we have the questions. Question number 1, which is based on your reading. Now, you don't have to do anything with the understanding of that, but what you need to do is you have to see each and every paragraph has a particular idea or a title, or you can say a heading. So you see, up to 15th paragraph, each and every paragraph, there are some points that are highlighted. So first, read the headings given in the question and then locate which paragraph talks about it. For example, when we say Einstein's equation, so which paragraph talks about it? If you see the question, you'll find that it is paragraph number 9, which is talking about his famous equation. We got to know that every paragraph was talking about some particular aspect of Einstein, right? So here what has happened is that some of the points are given to you, but they are all jumbled up. They are all mixed. So what you need to do is you have to read the comment given. You have to read what is the heading for each paragraph, and you have to see which paragraph talks about this. So you should be ready with your textbook. First one is done for you, Einstein's equation. This is mentioned in paragraph 9. Now, my dear children, you have to see which paragraph will be talking about Einstein meets his future wife. Try to find out. You need to refer to your text, to the text, go to the concerned paragraph. Next is the making of a violinist. You have seen, you have read it also in the text that he learned right from his very early age. He started learning violin because his mother wanted him to learn violin, and this passion he continued throughout his life. I had given you a picture also, so you can just quickly refer to the text and see which one. You solve it, then we'll have a match with your answer with the correct answers, right? But first you try it on your own. Then Mileva and Einstein's mother. Something is mentioned about Einstein's mother and Mileva because Einstein's mother was not in favor of Mileva and Einstein getting married because she felt that her intellectual does not match with this, and she's not that intelligent, and somehow she did not have a very good opinion about her. So have you been able to trace where is it? I think it is not difficult. A letter that launched the arms race. Yes, it is mentioning about the letter. You have to refer to that paragraph where the mention about a letter is given. Then a desk drawer full of ideas. He talks about the patent. Yes, I think you have got it. Then marriage and divorce. He got married and then he got divorced. He got married to Mileva and after a few years he got divorced. So here is the answer. I think first one is paragraph 9. The second one is paragraph 7. Paragraph 3. Then you have paragraph 10. Fifth one, a letter that launched the arms race, you have found in paragraph 15. Then you have paragraph 8 talking about desk drawer full of ideas, and paragraph 11 talks about his marriage and divorce. I think all of you have got it correct. Now another interesting question here for you from your text. Who had these opinion about Einstein? Other than Einstein, we also get to know about his headmaster, we get to know about his friends, we get to know about his teachers, we get to know about his mother, what they had to say about Einstein. So here we have 3 statements. You have to See, first you try it on your own. He was boring. Who said this? Who believed that he was boring? I think his friends, yes. So his playmates, they thought that he's boring, and they never were very happy with him, and they used to call him Brother Boring, right? He was stupid and would never succeed in life. Somebody had given this statement about this child when he was a child, when he was into his school. Somebody had said this to his father. Yes, it was headmaster who said this. He was a freak. I think in the very first paragraph you get to know that mother used to believe that he was freak because he was very unusual kind of person, very unusual behavior, right? Some unusual behavior. We also got to know that he did not speak at an early age. His head was very big and he preferred not to talk. He started talking after 2.5, right? Now, question number 3. Explain what the reason for the following are. First one, Einstein leaving the school at Munich for good. What do you think? What was the reason? Why did he want to leave? Was he very comfortable there? I think no. He hated regimentation. I have given you some hints. You note down the hints and you frame sentence and write it, right? He hated regimentation and he had often clashes with the teachers because teachers had a different concept, different belief, and he had just contradictory belief of his studies, right? But if you remember, I had mentioned that he was very happy with his science and mathematics teacher. Next is Einstein wanting to study in Switzerland rather than in Munich. Why is it so? Again, you have a hint here. It was more liberal than Munich. Yes, it was less strict. Then third one, Einstein seeing in Mileva an ally. Why do you think he felt that, yes, she could be a good companion, a good partner, a good friend? Why is it so? Because she was against those whom he did not like. What do these tell you about Einstein? Now, whatever we said, here you have to write. Whatever we have discussed so far about Einstein, you have to write about him, right? That what kind of things he liked, what kind of people he liked, and what was his belief regarding studies, and why he thought Mileva was a good friend of. All these things you have to just club and write about him. Now we have completed question number 1, 2 and 3, which covers all the points which are mentioned from paragraph 1 to 15. Now, my dear children, in the next part, we will be discussing the rest 2 paragraphs, paragraph 16 and 17, and we will be discussing some more textual questions and will be taking up some language questions also, right? So, with this, we come to the end of part 1 of this story, A Truly Beautiful Mind. Thank you.